Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on August 29, 2024. And thank you for the people that contacted me asking me if I'm okay because I didn't post the video yesterday. I did post a couple of things in the community section, and I believe I posted a short a day or so ago. But I've been trying to free up space on my phones and having great difficulty because my phones are hacked and they don't want me recording. So, but anyway, you could see here, so I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about the stupid perp tricks. They're immature, they're dumb, it's a psyop, they're very sneaky, they hide their faces, they're cowards. And then we're going to get into a Q&A. So anyway, what's been happening to me here, and this is why they want to isolate the victim. They don't want the people that are close to you, your family, your friends, people that know you, even people in the community that may or may not know you. They don't want anybody to see what is happening to your face, your property, your clothing, because anybody with any kind of common sense at all would take a look and say, this is not normal. This should not be happening. Somebody would question it. Okay, so going on now 12 weeks, they have been radiating my eyes, specifically my left eye. And they've caused a lot of dryness, especially in the corners, which is preventing my eye from completely opening, which means that I'm not getting enough light in my eyes. Now, I have literally a perfect vision. I went to the eye doctor literally the week before all of this happened. I got a clean bill of health, except for a couple of, floaters or something, whatever. But I find that it's because of the targeting. It has nothing to do with my health, my normal physical health. But what these criminals do, some of their tactics is, they like folding the corners of your papers, your books, your calendars, invoices, if you save invoices for the bills that you pay. They like to scrape, etch, embed, scratch, and tear your possessions, meaning they'll go into your Tupperware, your Rubbermaid, your stainless steel pots, and they'll scratch them. They'll etch them. They can, at will, deliberately rust any metal. It doesn't matter if it's rust-free, rust-proof, guaranteed. They can do it. And you won't be able to get the rust off. It's impossible. You'll have to paint over it. They particularly like filth because they're filthy. They're Satanists. They bow to an evil, satanic entity. And that entity is joyless, hateful, filthy, perverted, unclean, not spirited, not joyful. That's what these people bow to. These are the people that assault and unalive innocent creatures. That's all I'm going to say about that. So what they do is they particularly, because they're so dirty and filthy their own selves, they like to dirty your atmosphere. They'll inject chemicals, poisons, dust into your home environment, nano dust, nanotechnology. Some of it you can see under a black light. You can see it forming on tops of all of your countertop items. You can have your window closed, your door closed. You don't even have your air conditioning on to blow things around. But you could have perfectly clean house and come back and it will be filthy. They did this at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, where I lived in a home for 30 years as original owner. They're doing it here in my very small home here. So these criminals decide they're going to go into my bathroom. They empty out my petroleum jelly, which was brand new. And then they crack the plastic cover to my jar, my glass jar of castor oil. I don't know. So whomever did this received instructions from a fusion center operative, a private contractor, whatever. These are instructions that are given to these people. So these are psychopaths. These are psychiatrists, psychologists that study you to see what will piss you off the most, what will get under your skin the most. But the fact that there's some loser out there that's being paid with your tax dollars to do this, to go into somebody's home, an innocent person's home, and psychologically damage and abuse them, is off the charts. And this is under normal circumstances. We haven't even experienced the world totally collapsing yet. You know, when there's no food on the shelves and people can't get gas for their vehicles and stuff. This is, you know, when normal things, when regular people in your community are working, they can pay their bills, feed their kids and stuff. So what's going to happen when the country collapses? How is that going to affect these psychopaths? Especially when they're not going to get paid. So, it doesn't bode well for us and for other people. A lot of people. I mean, did you hear what's happening in Denver? In Aurora, Colorado? These invaders, because I can't call them illegals. The invaders have taken over entire apartment buildings. Oh yeah, and it's true because the criminals just zapped the back of my house with a radio frequency. I heard it snap. So anyway, they placed dirt under furniture. They place dirt under blankets, belongings and stuff. So like I'll go into my cat's building and these criminals actually steal their litter and place it underneath their beds. Like it's not physically possible for my cats to move this kind of substance underneath their beds. The fact that underneath their beds become shredded to pieces is a direct result of these psychopaths tearing it up. So they'll place dirt and dust, insects, spiders, tiny spiders, underneath your personal belongings, where they wouldn't normally be able to get there anyway. Now you can find some of this with the use of a magnifying glass. These criminals, because they're such narcissists, they like to leave their signature behind. So you will see their signature under a magnifying glass or under black light. They love to steal things and then return them and move things around so that you can't find them. They want to drive you crazy. They want to gaslight you. Like, you know, like I know when I leave something somewhere and then I'll go for it and it's not there. So they do this often and often where you start to doubt where you left something. Okay, that's what they do. These are stupid perpetrators, but it's not stupid. It's psychological. It's psychological warfare. Another thing they like to do is they like to filthy doorknobs, outside locks, your handles, generally with a black, gooey substance that's hard to rub off. I have found a lot of very gray, pithy, thick dust and dirt around the entrance of your home or apartment. And for me, I can only speak for myself, they leave triangles everywhere. Triangle pieces of glass, triangle etchings. I mean, hey, they literally laser cut a triangle in my right forearm. But I can't show you because YouTube took it down. It's too violent to show you. They want to let me know that somebody was here because they are the terrorists. They want to scare you, frighten you. They get a charge out of it. They get their louche, you know. They want to incite your emotions, which is why these criminals utilize these weapons to activate your central nervous system. When they vandalize, they are stalking. They are trespassing. This is criminal trespassing, vandalism. And they want to harness your energy. Now, I watched video recently. I'll discuss it further with David Icke. I think that's correct pronunciation. David Icke. I think it's really important to really start preparing for before the elections, because I think all hell's going to break loose, no matter who wins or doesn't win. I've also noticed in the community a lot of targeted people have been fired or have been talking about being fired because of a hostile work environment. And one person in particular relayed a story, and I seriously believe that his employer was setting him up. You know, there are a lot of female employers that hit on their attractive male employees. They do. They hit on them. Just the way guys will hit on their female employees. Females hit on their guy employees. And this woman was hitting on her guy employee. And then when he did not respond appropriately, or I feel he did respond appropriately, she accused him of it being a hostile work environment and fired him. So, I think it's crazy. But here's the question. Why should targeted individuals report gang stalking and civil rights violations to federal authorities despite their fears of retaliation and skepticism? Reporting criminal civil rights violations is a crucial step for targeted individuals. In an era where privacy and personal freedoms are increasingly threatened, targeted individuals, those who endure gang stalking, psychological harassment, and constant surveillance, must take a firm stand against these violations by reporting criminal civil rights abuses. This article, what I'm going to repeat to you, underscores the importance of reporting such violations and addresses common counter-arguments and provides practical guidance on how to proceed. The reality of being a targeted individual is that we are faced with an existence we're marred by psychological torture, defamation, harassment, and physical harm. Tactics like street theater harassment, vehicular biting, neurolinguistic program, and I'll just add in there, pet torture, pet harm, letting loose their animals on your property to harass you, to destroy your property as a scare tactic. Especially when there are such things as leash laws. So these people are violating the law, but they don't care. As someone who has endured these horrors for nearly 2 decades, I can attest to the devastating impact on one's mental and physical well-being. And why reporting is essential. 1, legal protection and justice. You can't suffer in silence, guys. You just can't. Reporting civil rights violations is crucial to seeking justice and legal protection. You need to document. And even if the organizations you write to do not respond, that's another feather in your cap. Okay? If you file a 61-page complaint to the Attorney General Criminal Division, like I did in New Jersey, and it's not addressed and it's tossed around and then given back to the abusers who review it, who review their own internal investigation and see nothing wrong, that is not only a violation, it's against the law. And these people need to be prosecuted. And there will be somebody out there someday that's going to hold these people accountable. Targeted individuals often face coordinated efforts to undermine their rights, and official reports can catalyze investigations and legal actions that hold perpetrators accountable. Number 2, raising awareness. By reporting these incidences, targeted individuals can draw attention to the severity and prevalence of gang stalking and related abuses. This awareness can spur broader societal and institutional changes, leading to better protection for all victims. And I will add that a lot of people have contacted me that until they have seen my evidence of what they've done to my clothing, my pets, that they had no idea what was happening to them. They suspected it was being done intentionally, deliberately, But until they saw my evidence, they didn't realize that this is systemic, that this is actually happening to them. And this is why you need to take notice and document your evidence. Number 3, creating a record. Filing complaints creates an official record that can be critical in establishing patterns of abuse. This documentation is invaluable in legal proceedings and advocacy efforts. And I'm going to say, again, MUCKROCK, the online FOIA request, Freedom of Information Request forum that claims to document public corruption, has taken down 41 of my public FOIA requests. You want to know why? Because I filed a complaint against my sheriff's department and the local county lawyer, Ross Murray. I provided them with documented evidence that he was not accurately responding to my FOIA request, and took longer than the law in the state of Kentucky. I proved it. Well, evidently, the Attorney General at the time, Daniel Cameron, who's no longer the Attorney General, I don't know what happened to him. We've got a new Attorney General who's a former FBI guy that I just recently contacted. Obviously contacted our county lawyer. And the county lawyer probably, and I'm just speculating, this is not a fact, it's probable, given what I know about this creepo. I don't call him a creepo, I'll call him a creepo to his face. He is psychologically abusive, gaslighting, and basically you can put him up there because what he's doing is placing himself above the sheriff. He is dictating to the sheriff's department what they can and cannot do. And I caught him in a lie because the sheriff's department actually gave me the FOIA request that I asked for and provided me information that differed that differed from the FOIA request that he provided because he redacted something. Tells you what a criminal he is. He is redacting and falsifying incident reports. So he, I guarantee, is the individual that contacted MUCKROCK to take down not only the requests to the county, but they took down my entire account. And then MUCKROCK, bless their souls, refused to sign for my certified letter. It came back as undeliverable. But yet my emails and physical letter did not come back as undeliverable months later. So they read it for sure. So beware of MUCKROCK. In fact, I've been so busy here, but I will, mark my words, find a citizen journalist to report about the MUCKROCK censorship. Because they hold themselves up high as reporting government corruption. But yet, they systemically took down my 41 public FOIA requests on the Manalapan Police Department, the Sheriff's Department here, Jackson County, Kentucky, and the Jackson County prosecutor, lawyer. So I created a record about the abuse, and I'm creating another one here. And all you have to do is search my channel for MUCKROCK and you'll see the others. Number 4, empowerment. Taking action by reporting violations empowers targeted individuals, giving them a sense of control and agency in combating the abuse they endure. Now here are the counter arguments. This is why all the naysayers in the community will say, oh, no, I can't do it. I just can't. 1, fear of retaliation. Come on, guys, you're already targeted. You're already blacklisted, you're already gang-stalked, you've already been stolen from, you've already been asset stripped, you've already been made homeless, and you are not going to report this? You're kidding me. So, fear of retaliation. While the fear of retaliation is valid, it's essential to remember that reporting to federal authorities offers a level of protection. The U.S. Department of Justice and the FBI are equipped to handle such sensitive cases, and anonymity can often be maintained. Well, I'm going to say for a fact that I have reported to the FBI that certain unknown individuals are detonating weapons on my property, throwing IEDs, firecrackers, pulling up to my driveway and doing it deliberately. Okay? Now, if that's not the T word, I don't know what is. Okay? Oh, but these criminals are countering they think that they're doing something special by harassing an innocent person. They're little weenies harassing a woman. If they can do it to me, they could do it to their own parents and grandparents. Number 2, skepticism about the effectiveness. While there may be some doubt about the effectiveness of reporting, believing that nothing will change, however, each report contributes to a larger body of evidence, increasing the likelihood of action, and also increasing the likelihood that somebody out there, a citizen journalist, will see and then report on your behalf. You may have a proponent out there and not even know it. Like Neighborhood Wars on A&E, April 11, 2023, that took my case about my neighbors because they saw the atrocities being performed against my property with my stupid neighbors, and aired a segment. Number 3, the distrust in authorities, and certainly I distrust the authorities for sure. It's a very common concern, especially when law enforcement is perceived as complicit, and they are. But there could be 1 or 2 people in the background that blow the whistle or do something nice in the background that you'll never know about. But this does happen. This does happen to targeted people. You will have somebody on your side who does something to help you without your ever knowing who did it. Nevertheless, federal agencies, unlike local authorities, operate under strict regulations and oversight, offering a more reliable avenue for justice. So how do you report civil rights violations? You contact the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, Criminal Section, PHB, 950 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. I'll post this in the description section. You contact the FBI, the nearest FBI office listed in your telephone directory. You report police brutality or abuse, the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division Coordination and Review Section. You can also report them to the Brady List. That's right. There's a special list just for bad coppers. It's called the Brady List. You can report discrimination based on disability. That's right. The U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division Disability Rights Section. There is an example letter to the Department of Justice. Here's a template that I've got here. Anybody that wants it. And then you can formally... this is part of the letter. Dear Sir and Madam, I am writing to formally report a series of ongoing civil rights violations that I have been subjected to over the past number of years. As a targeted individual, I have endured constant harassment, psychological torture, and surveillance tactic orchestrated by various groups and individuals. And I will add pet unaliving, pet experimentation, holes burned in my pets, which I can prove, triangles burned in my property, in my physical body, and in physical objects, which I can prove. Specific incidents include street theater harassment. Groups of individuals have staged public scenarios designed to provoke and intimidate me. You know, like sicking dogs on your property. Vehicular brighting. Vehicles frequently used to high beams to disrupt and distress me while driving. Well, guess what I've got now? I've got strobe lights. They're going to high beam me. They're going to get the strobe light. Oh, yeah. It's called a spotlight. A spotlight. Well, guess what? If a spotlight is coming from my property, too bad if you're crossing the county road and you're going to bright me. Too bad. Especially at 3 o'clock in the morning. Direct energy weapons. I have experienced unexplained physical sensations consistent with the use of directed energy weapons. Oh, yes. And dear FBI, DOJ, when I write my letter, I will provide you a photo of the triangle burned, cut into my forearm. There's no denying it. It wasn't done by a cat and animal. No, it wasn't. And then you write on specific dates, an incident, and you write the location of the incident involving, and then you write a brief description of the incident, highlighting the severe extent of this harassment. Despite reporting this to local law enforcement, no action was taken. And I'll add, the physical destruction of my property, no one came to photograph the evidence. No one came to photograph it. So I have reason to believe that some officials may be complicit in these activities, like taking down my MUCKROCK account. Guess what that is called? Tampering with evidence. Oh yeah, that's a biggie, tampering with evidence. I urge the Department of Justice to investigate these violations thoroughly. The relentless harassment has significantly impacted my mental and physical health, and I'm going to add, my financial stability. And I seek your assistance in holding the perpetrators accountable. Thank you so much for your attention to this matter. I look forward to your prompt response. Sincerely, in your name. In conclusion, reporting criminal civil rights violations is not just a personal necessity, but a civic duty. By stepping forward, targeted individuals can help dismantle the networks that perpetrate these abuses and foster a society where everyone's rights are protected. Don't let fear or skepticism deter you. Reporting can lead to justice, awareness, and change. And a warning. Any person or institution, including but not limited to the U.S. federal government, using or monitoring this account for purposes of invasion of my privacy, surveillance, you do not have my permission to utilize any of my information or any of the contents contained herein. You are hereby notified that you are strictly prohibited from disclosing my information or taking any other action against me with regard to this account. And such action is punishable by law. And also, I highly recommend anybody that you know personally that is deliberately harassing and you have proof, you sent them a cease and desist letter. You sent it in writing, you send a certified letter, and you get a signature. I've done it a few times. Yep, I have. And it doesn't matter that they haven't responded. You have proof that you have documented evidence. But anyway, the question was, why should targeted individuals report gang-stalking civil rights violations to federal authorities despite fears of retaliation and skepticism? And I'm going to tell you also that there is a targeted person. He was living in Connecticut. He's written several books. His name is Bobby Torres. He's got a Facebook page too. He was stalked for years and years. The cops were constantly pulling him over. Well, he filed a DOJ complaint, and his entire police department was cut in half. And his targeting essentially stopped. So you never know. You never know if your cop department, if you're a county prosecutor, if you're a civil rights division locally, they may have already been under investigation. And your report to them is just one more feather of evidence in their cap to take them down. This is another reason why you've got to report them. If somebody doesn't want to come to your property after you have documented vandalism and theft, they don't want to come and take a report, they don't want to take photos, you've got to report this. Got to report this stuff, guys. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, exposing one criminal at a time in Jackson County, Kentucky, formerly New Jersey. Signing off for now.